G'day and welcome to once more another episode of WeAmError. This is Crispy speaking, and I'm always joined with
Omega.
That's right. Excellent. It's been a while since we've been online. This is our first video in like 3 weeks about.
2 weeks, isn't it?
It doesn't really matter. We're busy people.
We're gonna try for every second week.
Yeah, at least.
And we'll do like a small let's play with each other in between.
Luckily, we do have a few of those backed up still, and we can do those. We can throw those in randomly here and there. But anyway, on to the main show. What do we have here today? We have Metro Last Light. This is not the Redux version. This is just the regular version. That's something I wanted to talk about. But anyway, this is a game developed by 4A Games and published by Deep Silver? That's correct. Excellent. And it released in 2013, and the Redux version released in 2014. As you can see there, it's got not that many graphical settings actually for a game that actually boasts some of the greatest graphics I've ever seen in a game. And that's the first thing you'll notice when I'm actually in the game, is the graphics is kind of incredible for a game that released in 2013.
So they don't really boast about it.
No, they certainly do. I mean, this game was definitely trying to sell the fact that it's one of the best looking games ever. And the Redux version is pretty much this with more graphics, which I don't understand. Why would you want to do that? It's just, there's so much more graphical options, I guess, in the Redux version, but this game looks awesome nonetheless. It doesn't need the Redux version.
It's also weird that the Redux version only came out like a little over a year after this one. I mean, they could really have spent that time developing like a new game.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. I agree. But nonetheless, so this game actually doesn't have any of the DLCs, but the Redux version comes with all the DLCs. And we had a look at the DLCs, and they all sell for around about $20 each.
That's about...
What was
it? $5.
$5 each, sorry. $5 each. The actual game cost $20.
Yeah. Our Steam store switched over to our local currency recently, so it's a bit difficult to
guesstimate it.
Yeah, but it's around $5 each.
Yeah, we could have spent like 5 minutes and actually looked it up somewhere, but if you're coming to this Let's Play videos and expecting the highest degree of quality,
you're going to be disappointed
all the time. All the time. One thing I did notice with the recordings was it's very dark. The recordings are very dark. But we'll probably fix that in post.
Are we?
We probably are.
I have to say that we're watching this on my screen as well, and my screen is a bit darker.
Is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe it's that then.
I think I'm using a really cheap HDMI cable.
Yeah.
And everything just looks a bit darker.
Is it not also the automatic settings on the screen that might be? It doesn't really matter. So, like I said, the first thing you'll notice with this game is the graphics. It's freaking incredible. But I played this game way back when it actually released 2013, and I wasn't able to play it with as incredible graphics as I could now. But, even then, I was still blown away by how good it looked. But it's not the graphics that kept me playing this. It's actually the game's fucking awesomely well done and very fun. I'm going to take my time here in the beginning of the game just to show you like the small little things that the developers added to the game. Like just the attention to detail in the world is incredible. This actually reminds me, and I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but this game reminds me a lot of about Half-Life 2. Especially the fact that all characters are animated, completely animated. It doesn't stop the game every time somebody talks to you, it's... But the story's not told in the same way as Half-Life 2, I guess. But it's just the same feeling. Like, the game is designed to actually be this immersive experience. This guy's got the best beard in the world. I love that.
It's a bit like a dwarf.
I love that. Just that little thing.
Biker.
Just this little tussle on the tip of his beard.
It's like a ponytail.
It's like a ponytail for his beard, but a very tiny one. So, if you haven't played the first one...
I haven't played any of the Metro games. Yeah. I really should. It's really a game that I really need to.
It's definitely something I could recommend.
Yeah.
The first one only has about 6 hours of gameplay, but then again, it was a game that had a lot of problems during development. It took a while to develop, and when it finally came out, it was only about 6 to 7 hours long. And it was a very difficult game to actually play. It was very, very also boasting incredible graphics for its time, but still it was something that I did play and enjoyed thoroughly. Mm-hmm. It just felt like they had like a lot of ideas they wanted to put into the game, but they didn't have the resources to do all of it or to make it an extensive experience. For instance, one of the main things behind Metro is sort of your stealth. You're supposed to stealth. A lot of the missions are supposed to be, able to be done just by stealth, not necessary to kill anybody. And the first one, there were opportunities for this, but most of the time it was more like you still... This was a firefight, you had to firefight. Yeah. Because this is just part of the story. But in this one, it's considerably longer. I'd say at least twice as long as the first one. And it has a lot of that. It has a lot of the core mechanics that I really wanted to see. It has a lot of the stealth, and it's very well done. The stealth mechanics in the game is very fun to use. It's not, overly complicated, and you can still fuck up quite easily.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I'm going to take my time and just show you off, like, all the stuff that's just around the world, Like, this is just the bunker you start in. But already you can see there's a lot of attention to detail everywhere.
So the first one was released in 2010.
I think so, yeah. It released in 2010, and this one is a direct sequel to the first one, which is weird. I wouldn't have done that if I were them. I would have just, perhaps tried to do something completely new, because this game also had a lot more marketing behind it, Metro Last Light, as opposed to Metro 2033.
Just based on a book.
Yeah, it's based on a book. You can actually, somewhere in the first one, you actually see the book on a table somewhere. It's just a little bit of a Easter egg there.
Can you read it? The whole book?
Just the whole book. You're going to sit there and read the whole book. No, this isn't Elder Scrolls. So here you get to see some of the first mechanics you get in the game. The fact that you have this gas mask that you constantly have to change the filter for. You also get the opportunity to you have to wipe away shit on the screen. Like, it's a very interactive experience. The game's a very interactive experience. For instance, your flashlight, it's not just a flashlight you just pick up batteries for. It's you get this flashlight and this charger for the flashlight. So when your flashlight gets low, you gotta take out the charger and bump the thing. So it's a very active, interactive game, which is something I really love. You also get like pneumatic weapons, which you have to pump the air canister. And the first one only boasted about 2 or 3 guns throughout the entire game.
Really?
And the first one, like I said, there was a lot of good ideas in the game, and
they didn't have the resources.
I just feel like they didn't have the resources, but they definitely stepped their game up in Last Light.
Yeah.
As you can see, there's a shitload of guns, and I haven't unlocked all of them yet. You can customize the hell out of them.
No, this is really the game I want to play now.
Yeah, I can highly recommend this one. If you're a fan of shooters, it's a good game to play. If you're a fan of horror games, it's a very good game to play. If you're a fan of just very pretty games, it's definitely the game to play. Right, here I'm just fighting with with the interface for a while here, because it's very confusing. You can click it, but it doesn't install. Yeah, it's complicated. I think... No.
Your first battle.
My first battle. My first battle in the game is this. But one thing everybody's going to hate me for is this game actually takes a while to pick up. In this half an hour, I only get to do a very small part of the game, actually.
So this one is obviously a lot longer.
A lot longer. A lot longer than the first one. But the first one, it also had the very interactive gameplay. For instance, you also had to clean your mask, to constantly swap out masks. Because you go onto the surface, and I probably should mention this. This game plays off in the year 2033, and Russia has been nuked to shit, and everybody's living underground in the subway systems. So you're one of these survivors, and in the first one you're basically sent out to find out what the Dark Ones are, because you're the only person that's ever encountered a Dark One and survived.
And the rest of the world?
They don't know. The basic idea behind it is like everybody alive is basically in the metro system of Russia, which is an interesting fact. The entire system of railways or underground subways in Russia has been built to actually be nuclear fallout shelters. Just look at all the detail. It's just the game has so much small, eerie little bits.
Very alive.
And you'll see when I get to actually a little bit more of an action part. You see, it still remains, this living, breathing thing.
Open the gates. I can really see why you would compare it to Half-Life 2.
Like I said, it's like the story is playing off around you. It's not like you're actively doing the story or whatever.
All right, let's go.
While I was playing this, I really regretted using the subtitles, but I had to put it on for the Let's Play. But but this game would really benefit from not having that. It's a very immersive game. It's a very, very immersive game.
Yeah, you can really get it. I'm getting lost into it. I just want to see it now.
You want me to shut the fuck up and just watch the game?
Let's go make some popcorn.
Yeah, and just sit here and watch the game. Yeah, that's fine.
There's not a lot of games that I just like to watch people play.
Yeah.
I'd rather play them myself, but there are a few that I would like. That I enjoy watching people play them.
Yeah. I think Mortal Kombat is probably the one I can think of at first. I hate playing fighter games, but to actually see a person play one of those fighter games properly, it's like watching ballet. It's pretty incredible. Like, it takes a very special type of person to be able to play those games.
Those Mario Maker levels, the really hard ones that are popular now.
Yeah.
Watching people play those, that's like underwater ballet, man.
I don't know if that's as much ballet as just repetition. Just those people just do those levels like a billion times over at the billionth time.
Yeah, but ballet, that's like ballet. Those ballet dancers,
it's not particularly graceful.
They don't go, not graceful, I guess. But it's impressive, and it's
impressive. But I mean, like a Mortal Kombat fighter, that's like graceful, because it's like all those things that we struggle with when we play fighter games, like just punching the air in front of us a lot of times. They don't have that. It's just like a fluid motion. It actually looks like a proper fight.
I got a little drunk the other night. I wanted to play some games, but I was too drunk to play something that actually required something. So I ended up playing Tekken 3.
Nice.
And then, which was fun. That game is always fun.
Tekken is fun. It used to be fun.
I remember way back, we played a Tekken tournament on the PS2.
Yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. That was a fun game.
There was a time when those games were really, really fun, and I just can't play fighter games anymore. It's just too complicated now. It's way too complicated. You even have to focus on how to make a character breathe the whole fucking time.
Okay, well,
push a button for him to breathe in and out. And
if you're gonna play against someone that knows the game, yes, it's gonna be complicated.
Yeah, and if it's like two people that don't know how to play the game, it's basically just a button bashing game.
Yeah, but that makes it fun.
It's not fun for me.
The thing about fighting games for me is it's not a game that. I mean, I played Tekken the other night, but in general, it's sort of a type of game you're gonna sit alone and play a fighter game at your home, whatever.
No.
Fighter game is a game. You sit with a couple of friends, have a couple of beers, and you just play something like Mortal Kombat. Like, we used to play a lot of. I really like Injustice.
Yeah.
That game is really fun.
I'll get back to that just now, but I just want to mention something. If you really don't want the first one spoiled, Metro 2033, you got to stop watching the video now, because they reveal a lot of stuff. Like I said, this is a direct sequel to the first one, and they kind of tell sort of like a little bit of a recap to the first one. So,
spoiler alert for everybody
big time
who wants
spoiler
to play
alert.
The first one first.
Yeah, go and play the first one, and then come and watch our video, or just skip a few minutes ahead and watch our other game we're going to be playing as well. But, if you don't mind it being spoiled, it's not that big a deal. Like I said, the first one is very difficult to slog through. Nonetheless. Anyway, I want to get back to that point you were making. It's a very fun party game, and I'm not going to disagree with that. I just prefer other party games. For instance, racing games, I've found to be some of the best party games.
But the thing is, I really suck at racing games.
Agreed, but everybody sucks at racing games when they're drunk. So
No, I suck at racing games when I'm sober. That's like one game I used to play Need for Speed Underground a lot.
Yeah?
I think that was the last one. After that, I just suck at those games.
Because me and my brother, we sometimes do this where we go and play a few games together, and it came down to a few times we were playing fighting games, but every time the most fun we had was the racing games, because both of us fuck up pretty badly in the game, but it's still like none of us really win because we both suck so much in the game, whereas then like the fighting games, I found like I'm a very sore loser too. So also I like the boxing games a little bit more.
But in those games I suck really as well. All these sport really, just any sport game in general, because I don't know the sport, I don't know how it works.
No,
it's difficult.
Agreed.
I remember we played the boxing the other day.
Like I can never play Madden. That's like impossible for me to play at all. But yeah.
I have a few friends who really like NBA, and like I
don't know the rules.
Yeah, no idea what to do. I played FIFA the other day. I was pretty drunk as well, and I enjoyed it. But I had a friend like next to me telling me what to do the whole time because I don't know sport. So
it took me about 2 weeks to get okay at FIFA, and then I played against my brother, and he completely ruined me. It's just like every time I go against somebody that's been playing FIFA from FIFA say 2010 through to FIFA 2015. There's a big difference between somebody that's only played 2015.
Yeah.
Like those people already know, like this is the type of moves you got to look for, and this is the type of thing you got to do. Like this is what your characters can do in the game.
Like most of my friends that do play FIFA, they aren't guys that they play it every now and then. They're people that get really into it and like play competitions and tournaments and stuff. It's so sad. We go to LANs and stuff.
Not anymore. I don't LAN anymore. I think I'm done with the LANing scene. For one thing, I've got a PC that's excessively expensive now, so I don't want to really jeopardize it breaking.
But we should just do online LANing.
That works much better. Yeah. I totally agree that. I was at the shop and I was talking to the guy, and he's like, "Would you like a case with a handle or not a handle?" I was like, "No, a handle. It's not a necessity anymore, because I don't LAN anymore. All games are on Steam. I just play them online."
The problem is that not all our friends own the same games.
Yeah, that's the big problem.
I mean, we do play. Of course, we play a lot of online gaming, but I mean, it would be fun to like get a really big group of people and say, "Okay, tonight we're just going to play games together."
Yeah, the big problem is though, and if you're a police officer, stop listening now as well. The thing is, online you can only use that the Tungle program, if you have not an official version. And
or an older game that only uses...
That's what I mean, like an older game.
That's what you meant.
Yeah, no, I mean like an older game. For instance, like
Riddler 2 now, that's free on Origin.
Yeah.
The online doesn't work, but I think you can do it through Tungle and Amashi.
You can do it through Tungle. And you won't be able to do it with like the Origin version. You're going to have to use like
able to do it with Origin.
I don't know. I mean, would they have actually included that as an option in the game still? Like, why isn't it then capable of doing it online?
As long as it has a LAN function.
Yeah, any program that has like a LAN function you can do with Tungle.
Yeah.
And like older games, for instance, like... Well, probably Warcraft, you can still do it online with like Battle.net.
Yeah, but I mean that's a game that people still actively play.
I'm really struggling to think of an old game now. Medal of Honor Allied Assault. It's not going to be able to. You won't be able to buy it on Steam, and even if you buy it on GOG, it's probably kind of pointless to buy it on GOG. Even if you can, which I don't think you actually can. But a few of us still have like the old version of the disc. Then you just pass the disc around, all your friends install it. Nobody loses out in this.
Yeah.
Like, EA still, they don't make money off of Medal of Honor Allied Assault anymore.
We should maybe double check, because, I mean, there's a big chance that it's on Steam, though.
I doubt it. Isn't EA like the Origin thing? And I don't think Allied Assault is on Origin. Even if it is, nonetheless.
That's definitely not on Origin.
Even if it is on Origin, it's not going to be multiplayer compatible, because they just don't give a fuck about that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, for some reason, like, the companies that actually force us to fucking use these programs of theirs like Origin don't spend time actually still making their old games compatible for multiplayer.
When was it? Last year or year before that? GameSpy died.
Yeah.
And that's all the end of a...
No, that was like a few years ago.
Wasn't that long ago.
That's like 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, anyway, I still remember it. But that was like the death of a lot of games.
I was so furious at that, and just the reason, just because of the GameSpy being dead, you can just use you can only use the LAN function. You can't use online anymore.
But
so
you
use
got Tungle and
then you just use Tungle, and like I said, it's completely an illegal thing to do.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Tungle is illegal. If you are bypassing their systems they have in place.
It's just a VPN.
You're just making your own rules. That's
you're making you're using a virtual. I mean, we're playing Starbound now, and for some reason, it's when we play Starbound through Steam, it just kind of stopped working. We were unable to join each other's games.
Yeah.
And Cuttlefish, they say
just use Tungle.
Yeah. Or
all right. Well, I guess if companies actually go ahead and
there's nothing wrong with it. If you use pirated games with it, yes, then it's wrong. But
how many of the old games do we still possess, but we still want to play? Battlefield 1942 you can still get on Origin, but I mean, like, before Origin, what was your options? Not
yeah,
game.
yeah, I know.
That's what I mean, you know, it's just old games you're gonna have to bypass their systems. I forgot what the point was we were trying to make.
We're talking about online LANs.
Online LANs.
But speaking of Tungle, we started using Amachi. Which is a lot like Tungle. It's a VPN, but it works. I don't know. For me, it's a lot easier.
Is it?
So you should maybe get that as well.
All right, we'll give that a go.
It's what it is. It's a VPN.
Yeah.
It gives you a virtual IP.
Yeah.
It opens ports for you.
Like I said, if you can just this game is so pretty. The second I went outside as well in this game, it was just so pretty. And this is what I mean by it's like an interactive game. For instance, you gotta wipe your mask. You get hit a few times, your own blood goes in the mask, and you gotta wipe it away.
And if you have second thoughts, don't worry.
And there's a timer on your watch there. That's how much air you have in your gas canister still.
So do you spend a lot of time on the surface?
In this one, yeah. A few times, but I won't say that it's very difficult to find the gas mask, the gas canisters, but finding a gas mask that's not broken is very, very rare.
So does your gas mask break?
Yeah, the more and more damage you take, the more and more damage your gas mask gets, and then you got to replace it with one you find out in the wild, which is usually broken as well. And if it's completely broken, you start losing a lot more gas, like your gas your oxygen goes down a lot quicker.
It's a cool idea though. Wiping the mask. It does add like an interactivity, makes it feel more realistic.
That's really something I really loved about this game. It sounds like such an.
It sounds like a bad mechanic, something that will get annoying.
Yeah, but you know, for instance, the light thing. I can think of so many very tense moments in this game where I was like, there's one part where you actually have to fight monsters that can only be killed with light.
Yeah.
So you walking in the dark with your light on, and you're constantly keeping these monsters at bay with the light, and so you don't have time to pump it, because you got to pump it and shoot, or like just pump it.
Yeah.
And yeah. For instance, there's also a few parts where there's like cobwebs, and you got to take out your lighter and burn like the cobwebs away with your lighter.
Something else I wanted to mention is talking about party games. We played Duck Game the other day.
Yeah.
I think that is an awesome party game.
That is such a cool game, that.
We made a video, we'll post it online sometime. But like the other day, it was like me and 2 other guys, we just chilled, played some Duck Game, that game. Because also that's a game that everybody sucks in that game.
Yep.
Which makes it really fun.
I think if you spend a little bit of time, you can definitely get good. And
I'm sure there's people, I mean, I see they stream a lot of that game on Twitch.
Yeah.
And I'm sure those people are insanely good.
It's just one of those games that some people are. It's going to be the scale effect, you know. Some people just continuously get better, and some people just want to play it at a party.
Yeah, but for me, that adds a lot of fun to it. If everybody just sucks at it, people die in the most ridiculous ways, which is really funny.
Yeah, no. That's like I said. What was the other game I was talking about? Was Counter-Strike. You know, you can't play Counter-Strike at a LAN anymore. Obviously, you can still play it, but it's got the scale effect. some people just continued playing the game, some people just want to play it at LANs, and you know...
Yeah, like, I've tried playing CSGO a few times online, and that's like the same thing, you know. You get these people who... Okay, CSGO is still a game that's really alive. So I think it still gets in a lot of new players.
Yeah.
A game that really suffers from that scaling effect for me is Quake. Because the people who play Quake now is the people who played Quake 10 years ago.
Yeah. So you
and I love Quake. It's
Yeah.
a fun game, but I got Quake Live, and every time I hit on my Steam, I say, okay, tonight I'm going to play Quake Live, and then I go into a game and I spectate some guys, and then I just like.
You know what happens with me?
Man?
You want to know what happens to me with the Quake Online? I go on, and then I play, and then I kick a little bit of ass, because all of us are noobs on this specific server. Because all of us are pretty much just turned on for the first time ever, and then just play it for like 15 minutes, and then there's the one fucking asshole that joins the game, and then it's just like, that guy's just cheating. Then it just feels like he's cheating.
It's always the guy whose sneak is like different colors.
It's different colours, or his name starts with the bracketed words, which means he's in a clan.
I mean, I've got a friend, a mutual friend, who is pretty good in Quake.
Yeah.
And I would like to game with him, but...
No, you can. You can. But you can't
It's
play
not going
Quake.
to be fun.
You can't play Quake with him. Even though he doesn't play Unreal Tournament, you know that he's going to be better at Unreal Tournament than you. You can't play CS with him, because you know he's going to be better than you at CS. So, like I said, it's very sad that I was only able to get about 30 minutes of this game. I wanted to do more, but you know what? With the half an hour I gave you guys to actually see this game, I really hope I convinced at least some of you to actually buy this game.
You convinced me to go. I mean, I've owned this game for a while now.
I would just mention, what you just saw, the part I just showed you, is like nothing of this game. It gets so much better. It gets so much more involved. It's got so much more than what I just showed you. What I basically just wanted to show you was the graphics in the game and the way the story is told.
Interactivity as well.
Yeah, exactly. But the game has... I haven't even showed you the whole stealth mechanic, which is just a big part of the game. You don't need to play stealth, but it's one of the mechanics you can use to actually get through the missions. If you want to go all Terminator, you can do that too.
I like that about games, because I've never been a big fan of stealth games. There's been a few games that I've played that has a lot of stealth in, and I went only the stealth route. But if you give me an option between stealth and running in and killing everything, I like to change it up a bit.
It doesn't matter to me, you know. If a game does stealth good, I usually go for stealth, because it tends to force me into playing the game slower. And
that's true, and it's fun. You have to play smarter as well.
Yeah.
But because you're playing slower, everything takes a long time. I don't know.
I just mean it gives me more time to get absorbed in the world. Where if I just run into a room with a machine gun and just mow everything down, it's so much fucking fun.
Yeah.
But then that whole room and everything. For instance, in this game also, I noticed a lot of paths you can take for the stealth mechanics, and I didn't do that specific part in a stealthy way. So, like, all that I feel like I'm missing out. Like, the people designed this level for me, you know, to actually, use it stealthily, but obviously you don't have to, but I just look back at a room and I just see, oh, there's some cool fucking corners I could have used there, and there's some cool walkways all the way around.
Okay, but let's switch to the next game, because everybody's looking at a blank screen for a while now.
Alright then.
So, you being a Mormon, is all this like acceptable in the church?
Fuck no. I don't even think oral sex is something that they practice. Well,
But you know they also do behind closed.
oh fuck yeah, dude. I've done so many bachelor parties for Mormons.
They're dirty.
They're dirtier than anyone. They just like to hide it. I think the people who hide it more are the ones who are the dirtiest. Dirtiest.
And we're on to our second game. From one of the best looking games of 2013, we're one of the worst looking games of 2013. But not necessarily a bad thing though. This here is Teleglitch. As you can see there, it's been developed by Test 3 Projects and published by Paradox Interactive. Paradox tends to actually do this a lot. You know, a lot of indie games they release or publish.
4X games, grand strategy games.
Especially that's the games they themselves develop. Is usually the 4X games, Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis, so forth and so forth. Anyway, this is Teleglitch, like I said, and you basically play as a sole survivor in a military complex or science complex, and it's a roguelike game where you basically die a lot. It's one of the most difficult games ever. I'm definitely going to say it's one of the top 10 most difficult games I've ever played. If not the most difficult.
But you like this game a lot.
A lot. You'll see why. I'm going to say that the graphics is definitely something I find very, very charming.
Yeah.
I find the graphics very charming in this game. It's got this old school 1980s, text on it and stuff like that, but it definitely feels like it could have released in like 1996 or 1995 and actually been very successful. But it's one of those indie games that, personally, just for me, it's just charming. Charming as hell.
But I mentioned that you like this game because generally you don't like games that are that difficult.
No. Usually not. This is a game I can play for like 45 hours. It usually 45 minutes. Usually takes about 40 minutes to actually die in the game, which is kind of fucked up. I'm going to say there's one thing I definitely don't like about the game. It's got a big difficulty jump, like a big curve, around about level 7 or so, where the NPCs or the enemies get guns, and then it starts getting fucked up. Because most of the game you basically just fight these zombies and these robots gone rogue and shit like that.
Like, I've played this game a little bit, but I've never reached a part that I felt this is too difficult. But I haven't played that much.
No, it definitely it has a very big difficulty jump eventually. As you can see, like I said, the graphics isn't pretty. It's not a pretty game, and it's got no music. So if you actually do buy this game, keep Winamp in the background and play some of your own music. Perhaps some Fallout OST with it would actually go pretty good.
Or some synthwave, some 80s.
80s synthwave would actually be pretty good as well, but a little bit more minimalist music, because this game is very minimalist. This is basically what you do. You run around picking up stuff, and one of the main things you really do is crafting. You do a lot of crafting in the game. Upgrade your weapons, build new ones, build yourself some armor from empty cans. But in the beginning, you'll see you struggle quite a bit. They've got a new feature in the Die More edition, I think it's Die More edition, where you can start with random stuff. And usually you just start with the SDCC, which is a self-defense credit card. Literally a credit card that has a taser on it. And you rarely pick up like big guns in the beginning. So you'll mostly be relying on your SDCC, your chocolate, and your nail bombs.
What do you do with chocolate weapon as well?
No, you just eat that. It just makes you feel better.
Takes away the stress.
Yeah.
They give chocolate to trauma survivors, victims.
People that have gone through shock. Yeah. I think it's a good cure for people that's gone through shock. Perhaps not cure, just something to help them with.
I think a hand job would work better.
Probably. So talking about Fallout, I've started playing Fallout 4.
Like most of the world.
Yep. And I'm definitely going to say it's one of the best games. I'm totally with those people that say it's one of the best games ever, but there's a lot of problems with the game, obviously. It's a Bethesda game, so you expect bugs, but there's a lot of stuff I think they kind of should have done better. The crafting thing, or the whole base building thing, it's cute, it's nice to have, but they could have just, if they wanted it as big a mechanic as they did actually make it in the game, they could have done it better. And they don't really give like a very good tutorial towards it at all. But everything else in the game, like there's no game like this that you can explore. Like,
if they give you a game with that depth, you can't really complain about one thing that...
I explained it like this to you, you know, where Oblivion, or let's start with Morrowind. If Morrowind is just a piece of bread with some butter on it, that's a good analogy for Morrowind, because it's a big map you get. It's just, you can walk from one corner to another corner.
Everything looks the same.
And it's pretty much everything is the same around the edges.
Yeah.
Then Oblivion released, which is also basically a piece of bread with some butter, but this time they kind of added a little bit of cheese on the bread. So there's a little bit more flavor to it. You can do a lot more in Oblivion, and it started to actually taste good. And then they released Fallout 4, which is just a piece of bread with some cheese and tomato. So it's got a different taste to it, but it's still basically the same. You know, it's a walk from one corner to another corner. And then Skyrim is also a piece of bread with some cheese, with some tomato, and some ham. So there's a lot more. It's a complete sandwich. It's everything you want in a sandwich. It's just perfect. Yeah. And Skyrim was just perfect. And then they released Fallout 4, which I'd explain as or describe as a Dagwood burger. Just this big fucking something different. It's still 2 pieces of bread, but there's just everything is different inside. It's and it's got so much in it. It's just everything is inside.
It's perfect with a bit of extra.
It's perfect with a lot of extra. it's like I said. It's a very dense game. It's very overwhelming the second you step out of the vault. It basically throws you into the game in the first 30 minutes to 60 minutes. You basically run through the first few missions, and then they just say, okay, now we're done. This world is yours, go nuts. And I really appreciate that. Where Skyrim, you basically had to do a lot of stuff before the dragons actually activated in the world. Like, you had to actually go to the Greybeards, speak with them, do a mission for the Jurgen Windcaller mission, and then you can actually say, okay, now the game started. So it took a lot more time. But in this one, I'm definitely going to say they jump to it very quickly, and you can really get into the game really quickly.
I'm just watching you getting a bit of a difficult situation here.
Like I said, this game has a lot of just jumps, just big difficulty jumps. I just transitioned from level 1 to level 2, and I still don't have that much in the sense of weapons. I only have the shotgun, which I only have 10 bullets for, and that happens a lot.
I remember ammo being quite scarce in this game.
Very scarce, very scarce.
Now, getting back to Fallout, so yeah, the game has a lot of glitches.
Yeah.
Have you encountered any game-breaking glitches?
I'm gonna say before I actually updated the game, before the first update came out, there was a lot of just crashing to desktop glitches, but I haven't experienced any glitches since I updated the game, or big-time crash-related glitches. I have found a few NPCs fucking out completely, but there's a lot of stuff. People tend to actually say, oh, they still don't know how to make the NPCs smarter. But this is a fucking lie. Fallout 4 has some of the smartest NPCs I've seen, you know, in that type of RPG game. If you have this bigger game, it's very easy to, you know, just say, oh, it's such a big game, so the AI is not that important. But this one, they actually did a lot of work in the AI. For instance, your enemies will flank you, will use cover a lot better. You know, it's a lot better. And for instance, if you actually do build your own base, they don't have that much of a problem actually getting around the base. I thought that was going to be a big problem with it, because, like I said, usually pathfinding is a big problem in any of the Bethesda games, but I haven't experienced that many problems with that. It might just be me, but I know that a lot of people have been saying that it's got a lot of problems with that.
Yeah.
But personally, I've seen, you know, I've built some very elaborate buildings, and some elaborate setups for getting into the buildings and around the buildings, and I haven't seen the NPCs just walking into a wall constantly. No, I've seen a few NPCs walking into a wall constantly, but not as much as you'd expect.
I saw there's a lot of critics that's criticizing the game for being really, really buggy.
And it is buggy. It is buggy, but if we will remember, all fucking Bethesda games are buggy in the beginning. Now, this is not an excuse.
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is something I can expect from a game that's this big.
Yeah.
And the amount of content this game has is ridiculous. Not as much as I thought in the beginning. For instance, I really thought the weapon upgrading and the weapon modification was going to be a lot more elaborate. But once you actually see through a little bit of the veil they give you, you start seeing that it's not as epic as you think it is.
Yeah.
For instance, you still try and build your guns as good as they can get. So you still just basically replace the one part with another part that's better and better and better. Sure, you can maybe make your laser rifle 3 different types of laser rifles. You can make a single shot, automatic, or flame-throwing laser rifle, but still, that's basically the 3 types of laser rifles you get.
And how's the combat?
A lot better. A lot better. It actually feels like they actually spend some time in trying to make an FPS game. A lot of people try and swear a lot by the VAT system, and the VAT system is still good, but I'd say in Fallout 3, the VAT system was a necessity. You had to use VATs. In this one, it was easier for me to just shoot the enemies actually very accurately from a distance, very, very well, without using VATs. Because VATs made it more difficult for me to actually hit the enemies. Because they give you a percentage. This is a 60% chance you're going to hit them in the head, where if I don't use the VATs, I'm going to definitely hit them in the head, because I can fucking shoot a gun, for fuck's sake. And they completely replaced the skill system, which is something that a lot of people bitch and moan about, like they dumb down the game. I don't see them as dumbing down the game as much as just streamlining the stuff. And if you look at like the other Fallouts where you have like, say, your lockpicking, and every time you level up you gain 10 extra points in the lockpicking. When you reach, for instance, 50, 60, 70, you get like milestones that you can unlock a master lock, or you can unlock an expert lock, or so forth. In this one, the traits you unlock is active traits. Like, it definitely changes the way you play the game. And that's something I like a lot, that it's not just a numbers game. It's just not like my gun skill is only determined by the numbers that go up slightly every time I level up. Like, it completely changes every time I level up. Which is something I definitely got to say I love about this. I love the fact that they removed the skill system, because the skill system was awesome, but I like the replacement they have. A lot of people bitched and moaned about the fact that Skyrim did the same. They removed the skill system as well, and or sort of. They sort of removed, or sort of just dumbed it down a slight bit, but they streamlined it a lot better. The feats you unlock, the way the game changes, is a lot better.
I'll have to upgrade my PC first.
Like I said, it's probably gonna. It should run pretty good on any PC. My PC was just very old, but once I upgraded, I'm gonna say that the game really runs very smoothly, even though I didn't make that much of a big jump between my old one and this one.
I mean, it was quite a big jump, though.
The graphics card's a big jump.
Which is important, that's the thing.
Yeah, if you get a good graphics card, you could probably have no problem with the Fallouts. But, playing it on just high is good enough.
Yeah.
If you play Fallout for the graphics, you're gonna fucking be disappointed, because it's not the best graphics ever. Not that it's a bad looking game, it's still atmospheric as hell, and all of Bethesda's games have that atmosphere. It's just that feeling of the world around you.
Is everything still the same color?
No, not at all. You'll be walking from one side of the map to another, and you'll be experiencing swamps, radioactive wastelands, a city, a town in a baseball field. It's a big. There's a lot of like I said, it's a very dense game. There's a lot more in the game. It's awesome to see that there's just so much. There's just so much. Like I said, there's these shitty old games you can pick up in the game, and that you play on your Pip-Boy, like Missile Command and like Donkey Kong, and it's all like and Pitfall is the one's name, like just to play on the Pitfall, but it's all like Fallout themed. Then there's nothing extra, but it's just
nice.
It's just something cute. It's just something cute. I really wish this game was more interesting to watch. But believe me, when I play it, it's a very intense game.
Yeah. Action-packed.
It's action-packed as hell.
That's where you're supposed not to listen to chilled music.
Yeah.
I think some hardcore synthwave.
Hardcore synthwave.
So this game has fixed levels.
No,
It's randomly generated.
Randomly generated maps, and the everything is randomly generated. It's pretty much as roguelike as it gets. Yeah. I'm so fucked. That happens so much when you just open a door and like the enemies just start rushing through the door. That happens a lot too. You get this. Did I die? Yes, I died.
Nice.
Finally died. I think I killed myself though.
Yeah.
I ran into the black goo. There's this black goo all over the maps, and if you just touch it, you die immediately.
That's kind of fucked up.
So I also want to show the arena mode, which is something also the Die More edition has, which is fucking fun as hell. They don't give you the limited resources. They kind of, you can choose your gun sets you want there and play the game you want by completing these challenges they set you. For instance, this one is survive for 70 seconds.
This game would be really fun multiplayer.
It would be, but I think that would be so easy. Like if you play like with somebody, it would be an easy game to to win or beat.
I mean, if they up the difficulty.
I guess so, yeah.
Monsters.
If they up the difficulty and add friendly fire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, friendly fire should be there.
Yeah, no. With friendly fire, it's going to be a very difficult game.
Well, it could be a lot like Risk of Rain.
Risk of Rain is another game we play quite often, which is also quite fun.
Also roguelike.
Also roguelike, yeah.
What something I've experienced in that game is, like the last time we completed it was quite easy. We didn't really struggle that much.
Yeah.
And then the last time we actually played the game, we only got to level.
Agreed. We were
three or something.
Yeah, we were 3 people when we played it the first time. We got pretty far.
Yeah.
And then just the 2 of us we were playing, but this was a few patches later. And the one thing we did notice was it's a very difficult game. It gets very difficult very quickly.
But the last time, not the last time we played, the last time we completed it.
Yeah.
We completed it not a lot of difficulty.
Yeah.
And then the last time we played it, we thought, okay, well, it's probably going to be like the last time. Maybe they downgraded the difficulty in a patch.
Yeah.
But then it
was just a completely different.
Yeah. We were quite strong for a while.
It's definitely a luck-based game.
Yeah.
Big time.
Also, the characters aren't that balanced.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. You get a shitload of characters that take forever to unlock. And when you actually get them, some of them are worse than the first character you start with.
I think it's not about balance. I think about what style you want to play. If you want to play the guy with a sword, it's fine. It's going to be difficult, but if you want to play the guy with a sword...
I cannot imagine that actually being like fun, because you're going to die the whole fucking time. You lose life like nobody's business.
You just need to find the right items.
Like I said,
you need to know like all those items.
It's
by heart. So if you see them, you buy them.
It's a big time luck game.
Yeah.
Like I said, you know, it all
like
depends on it all depends on the items you pick up.
And I also realized that early game is more difficult because you don't have that many items.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get items, it gets much easier.
Agreed. Like I said, yeah, there's some items that completely make the game a lot easier just by picking up that specific item. So you've been playing an old school game for a while now. You want to start telling our listeners about that?
Well, we bought Diablo 3 the other day.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we're a bit behind the times.
Yep, we live in South Africa. We're always back in the 1980s.
That was us. Like I have a lot of friends who bought Diablo when it came out.
No. I had my reasons.
Yeah. I think we talked about it in the previous episode.
We talked about that.
Then I started playing Diablo 3, and I felt, I'm enjoying this game, but I really want to finish Diablo 2 because I never finished Diablo 2. Hack and slash RPGs is something that I only recently learned to play, to like even.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was always the same. I reached Act 3, and then I'm over the game. Because the game is very repetitive.
Yeah.
No one can fucking disagree with me on that.
No, it is a very repetitive game.
And I'm playing with a necromancer. And I mean, I haven't played this game in ages. I didn't follow any builds or anything. I just built a character the way I wanted to play with it.
Yeah, you wanted to play the game.
And my character really sucked. The boss fights were really annoying.
Yeah, the character is kind of flawed in the sense where you told me the skeletons.
Yeah, they just die immediately. Like, most of my spells are useless in a boss fight.
And what version did you have to play? Was it 1.11, 1.09?
That's the newest one.
Yeah, 1.12 probably then. But I was surprised to actually find out they're still keeping that game alive with the patches.
There's now a big mod for the game that makes the game way more hardcore and adds like a lot of new abilities, new enemies, new items, and I see a lot of people play that game or the mod. But I saw pictures of the mod and it just was just too overwhelming because you see like 1,000 enemies on the screen with lightning everywhere and fire, and I was like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I mean, the original Diablo is already too much for me.
There's one thing I gotta say about Diablo 3. It's gets insane with just one character, and then when I went on to play some public on the public, when I made my game public, rather put it that way, I noticed that nobody really wants to play with each other. It's like everybody's in it for themselves still.
Yeah.
For some fucking reason, what happens is you get like a player that has Paragon 60, for instance, Paragon level 60, and then players that, Paragon level 700.
Yeah.
And the jump between the two is enormous. Like the character jump. So the character has like this Paragon 700 and a Paragon 60, and he just dashes off.
Yeah.
Like 1,000,000 miles per hour in towards the mission, and I just noticed I can just stay in the town and just collect the fucking rewards every time he finishes it, because it takes him like 5 seconds to get to the boss, kill him, and then just be done with it. Which I was really pissed off at, because I was playing in like Torment 3 or something, and there's like 10 different Torment levels. Why didn't they just fucking play that?
Yeah.
Go and play with your big time strong people.
But why did they scale or when they? Yeah, I don't know. If you create now a game, is there like a server browser or do you just random?
No, it's literally just random. You just say I want to play on the public, and then you just join a game, and it just automatically joins the game.
That's the big problem.
I'm gonna say that it's a big problem because the enemies do scale, but they don't scale from like Paragon 700 to your Paragon 60 or whatever.
I guess the other option is to go into the world chat and ask, "Hey,
nobody wants to talk.
I know.
Nobody wants
I've
to
seen
talk
that
to you.
world chat is like really dead.
Nobody wants to talk to you even when you're in the game with them. Nobody wants to talk to you. I'm like the first time ever, and I haven't made that mistake since. The first time ever I made the public, I like wanted to talk to the people who's playing with me.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say hello. Want to do this quest with me? And I type it in, nobody responds. He just still fucks off and does his own thing.
I had the same experience with Torchlight.
No.
Which is, I still think Torchlight is my favorite hack and slash game. I joined it, but there you can actually go to a server browser and join games that are the similar level to yours.
Yeah.
But the people there as well, they don't... I joined the game with maybe like 4 or 3 people in, and they're all doing their own thing.
You know, the Paragon system is a very good idea for a hack and slash game. Reach your max level and, keep on leveling. And that's one thing I think that that's the only thing I'll say that Torchlight needs from Diablo 3. Both of them are their own unique thing. I mean, Torchlight 2 is basically just Diablo 2 better.
Yeah.
And that's something I love. And I love both of them. I love Torchlight 2 and I love Diablo 3. There's not for me either or. But, I totally get what you're saying. Personally, if you just look at that type of hack and slash, definitely going to say that Torchlight 2 is my favorite as well.
The only thing about Diablo 3 I would say is it's missing the old character build.
Yeah, that is true.
Playing Diablo 2 now, I mean, for me, that is what these games are about.
You build your character
the game is super repetitive. There's no depth in the game. There's no role playing. There's no sense of adventure. Everything's the fucking same. But what's really fun is seeing your character evolve.
Yeah.
And like I said, I met like a necromancer and I build it the way I wanted. It didn't really work out, and then I went and I changed a few things, and now my character is really hardcore, and now the game is really fun again.
Yeah. I'm going to say that that's one thing I definitely don't like about Diablo 3 is the way that my Witch Doctor is pretty much the same as your Witch Doctor. It's got the same abilities and skills.
Where in Diablo 2, you can, even if you follow the online builds, there's about, you get the Summoning Necromancer, you get a Bone Specialist Necromancer, you get 4 different builds for every character.
Just the massive explosion of people through a door there.
And that's something that Path of Exile does well, is with the massive skill tree, is you can
build your character any way you want. That's, even though I'm not gonna build a barbarian that has a high intelligence, I want the opportunity to do that. I want to be able to make a barbarian that has a ridiculously high intelligence.
The Path of Exile is also a really awesome game, but it's just got one big flaw that's also kind of cool at the same time, is the way the spells work with the slots and the jewels. I like that it's different, but it's really annoying when you get this awesome item and then it's just like...
Yeah.
It's not going to work for me because I don't have the slots. I mean, you get those orbs that you could add slots and change colors of gems.
It's a lot of random.
Really rare.
It's a lot of random, though. Even if you do actually use those gems to actually change your item, there's no guarantee that it's going to be the right sockets then.
Yeah. The right color. It's going to change the color, or you're going to add or take away a socket.
But what are they going to do to actually change that? They can only add like a character. You have credits that you purchased, and then you can actually do what the fuck ever you want to, and that's never going to work. The only thing I really there's a lot of stuff I love about Path of Exile, but one of the things I really love about Path of Exile is the fact that they never force you to spend money.
Yeah.
Ever. You never feel like you're missing out on anything.
No.
You might see a few characters in the towns, other players that have this badass looking character, and you know that he spent like probably about $20 to make his character look like that. But you never feel like, oh, my character's never going to be as good as that character, because my character is 100% different from his. 100%. I mean, the build I'm using is basically the one I think
also,
is
the
going to
stuff
work.
you buy with real money is just...
It's cosmetic. It's all cosmetic. You never, like I said, you never feel like you're missing out, and that's something that all free-to-play games need to fucking learn. It's just that's the main thing they gotta accomplish, is you should never feel like you're missing out, but you need to feel like you're adding something if you actually do pay for something.
Yeah. But I think it's really difficult to make a game like that, because how many of those players actually do spend money?
Very few. I'm going to say very few people spend money in Path of Exile. Even if they do, I don't understand why they would.
But even Dota uses the same system. You can buy cosmetic items and stuff like that.
Yeah, Dota would never have sold. If they ever tried to sell that game, people would have just kept on playing Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
That's something they wouldn't have made that mistake of making Dota 2 a game that you pay for. They noticed
League of Legends is a game that you pay for. You don't have to, but you pay money to unlock.
People didn't switch from people switched from Warcraft 3 to League of Legends while people were still playing Dota on Warcraft 3. When Dota 2 released, people just switched literally from Warcraft 3 onto Dota 2. So that's a little bit different. If you wanted to play League of Legends, you could have just gone and played that. You didn't need to keep on playing Warcraft to actually play Dota. Whereas, like I said, they would have never made the mistake of making Dota a game that you pay for.
But my actual point is it works with Dota, because people actually do spend a lot of money on Dota.
Yeah, I guess so. Why would people do that? I don't know. I have no idea why people would do that.
Well, League of Legends has more players than Dota, so... people spend money on that one as well.
They made more money than Dota as well.
Yeah.
A fuck ton more money.
I think EA Games bought some game the other day. It was like Candy Crush, I don't know, but Microsoft owns Candy Crush, I think.
Oh, for fuck's
But it was for a ridiculous amount of money. What was that game? It was more than Disney spent on Lucas.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's just a rip-off.
It was something like Candy Crush or one of those shitty mobile games.
You want to talk about a rip-off? Somebody got ripped off right there.
Well, I mean, if you look at the revenue, the numbers probably make sense.
I can't imagine that Candy Crush makes more money than Star Wars.
There's a lot more people playing Candy Crush than people buying Star Wars toys, playing Star Wars games.
Man, I
mean, my grandmother plays Candy Crush, dude. She doesn't...
Does she pay for Candy Crush? Everybody that watches Star Wars pay.
But there's probably ads and stuff.
Yeah, I guess.
Making the ad money.
I don't know how that shit works. I'm not an accountant. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been WeAmError. We certainly enjoyed having you as company today.
We hope you enjoyed having us on company. As company.
Yeah, join us in 2 weeks again when we release another Retrocity video. Remember to like us, subscribe to us, follow us
on Twitter. Everything will be there. If it's not, it's at WeAmError.
Yep. Shout out to
subscribe because in between the 2 weeks we'll be releasing a few small stuff.
Still don't know if we should mention our fan's name.
I don't. What is his name?
I do know.
Bada Bing.
Yeah. Shout out to Bada Bing. Yeah, you're a champion, my friend.
You're a scholar and something. What's that thing?
I don't know what
you're a champion and a scholar or whatever. Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much.
Gentleman and a scholar.
Gentleman and scholar.